All verse rising, my soul family. So we're going to talk about how in different timelines, versions of yourselves, you had different events depending on where you was living, right? So let's say, for example, you was living in the country of Denmark and you literally had the lifetime to just like do everything you desire from the place that you was living at in that country, in that timeline, right? And you was able to experience, like, you know, having to see your mom and dad be able to see you physically grow up into an adult, and they're able to physically do things with you, as far as like working out, exercise, where they might be running, doing forms of different martial arts training, you know, playing any form of sports and stuff. And like, you know, they be able to keep up with you. They can fly in the sky, you know, helping you amplify your ki and chakra and everything. And they get to see you reach new transformations as you get to see them reach new transformations that they never thought existed. And that's some timeline. That's some fun of a timeline to witness that. And then let's say you was living in an alternate timeline, right? You was living in a whole nother country where your mom and dad in the timeline that was able to do things with you, they're just not physically able to do things with you, right? And it's just the total opposite. And it's like, yo, each different timeline, you know, we basically lived in every single place in the multiverse, man. Like, real talk, bro. Like, for example, like myself, I like in each timeline, I have lived in every single region in North America. I lived in every single region in Canada. I lived in every single region in Brazil, every single region in Sweden, every single region in China, you know, the country. I lived in every single region in like the countries in Africa, or lived in every single region in the countries in the Caribbeans. You feel what I'm saying? The list goes on. And I had different outcomes based on where I was living, you know. So whatever I was able to do, for example, whatever I was able to do in, you know, the area of Vermont, I wasn't able to do in the area of Arkansas. To be exact, based on the timeline I was in, based on the different individuals that was there in Vermont compared to Arkansas. And, you know, I had to move a different way based off where I was living at. You feel what I'm saying? This is like on some Future Trunks type deal, because, you know, in Dragon Ball, right? Dragon Ball series, they showed the movie with Future Trunks. He had to move a certain way based on the type of timeline he was in, right? And he went to the present, everything was different. Like, you know, Vegeta, Kakarot, you know, Gohan, Tien, Piccolo, all of them was physically alive for a while. In his timeline, Future Trunks timeline, everybody was gone. It was just him, like literally. You feel me? So it's like, yo, like all these different timelines just make you really think, you know. So it's like, for one timeline, you could probably be a social media fanatic. You could be a social media famous person, and like everything is just flowing for you on social media. You know, you're getting the recognition you deserve. And while in another timeline, it's like you're not social media famous. You feel what I'm saying? And it's just like different. It's like different stuff be going for us in different timeline versions of ourselves. And this could be also factual too, you know, in different timelines, you know, of ourselves, we could be stronger than our other timeline counterpart. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there could be a timeline where a different timeline version, like timeline 5, could be way more physically stronger than I am in the timeline that I am making this video. Whereas like in timeline 7, I could be way stronger than timeline 7 version of myself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then you got timeline 777, timeline 583. It's like so many infinite timelines existence, you know, for all of us. So if you're living if you're a living being, and you literally see yourself every day, when you look in the mirror, when you can see your own thoughts of what you striving to create, you realize that it's like different timeline versions of yourself, right? It's different timeline versions of yourself. And if you was able to meet if you was able to meet other timeline versions of yourselves, where there might be 10 of you, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, the list goes on, you'll be able to see like a whole different you get to see like a whole different level progress of yourself. You feel what I'm saying? So imagine, for example, that's why I use, Future Trunks as an example. Let's say Future Trunks met 80 versions of himself in all these different timelines, where it might be a Future Trunks that might be able to, go Super Saiyan 3 blue, or Super Saiyan 3 with Ultra Instinct on top. Based on these different timelines, they're having all these different events for him to reach these particular status of power. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's just something unique that I thought about. So it's like in one timeline, you could probably be living on a whole nother planet, a whole nother universe, so like some of us, like that's why I'm saying, like we be living in every single multiverse, man. Like for one timeline, I could be living in universe 55, or I could be living in universe 88 for my whole entire lifetime, and still even try to go find a way to like travel to all these different universes in the angel number multiverse. That's why, these different universes, they got angel numbers and things. You feel what I'm saying? They showed all the different stuff with the angel guardians and Dragon Ball Super, where they got all these different universes. You feel me? So it's like, it runs really deep, man. It runs super deep. Man, we could talk about this stuff like for hours and hours and hours. It's like for one timeline, you might have been a great creator when it comes to vehicles and know how to put the engines together, and whereas might be in a different timeline, you would have been good at like creating farm and cultivating lands and things, whereas in a timeline 3, you probably could have been good at like, making certain technology to build different ways to like help people to communicate with other beings in other universes, from universe 1 and beyond, so these timelines is different timeline versions of yourselves be showing different things, man.